And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, watching and present. Welcome to the Board of County Commissioners Appointed Directors meeting for September 9th, 2020. And by way of introductions, I'm John Hutchings, the chair of the board. Also present is Vice Chair Commissioner Ty Menser, and Commissioner Gary Edwards is in the boardroom, along with our County Manager, Romero Chavez. I'm presuming Amy Davis, clerk of the board, is present or no?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And Romero, will you introduce all of our guests today? Because I don't see everybody here.
Yes, absolutely. I have Josh Cummings, Patrick O'Connor, Maria Ponte, Jennifer Walker, Sean Slaughter, and Miriam Clear so far.
Wonderful. Thank you all for being here. And depending on where you work in the county or where you live, I hope you're not too negatively impacted by the smoke and haze. Today is just pretty much an open session, a chance where you can shout praises of your staff or of yourself or of each other, but you get to address the county commissioners as well.
Yeah.
So with that,
Commissioner, could I ask you to finish the meeting maybe 10 minutes or 5 minutes before the 1 o'clock, so give us the time to convert the room for the hearing?
Yes, because we're going to a quasi-judicial hearing. Okay, certainly. So we'll do that. So we have a short time frame. So let's go ahead and start with. Let's start with Mary Ann. Hello, Mary Ann.
Hello, commissioners.
So talk about it. Talk to us. What do you want us to hear? What do you want us to know?
So I wanted to thank everyone for all of the support that's been going on as we all try and get through everything. My department has remained working. We are still serving the public. I have our public office open. Everyone continues to telecommute besides the one person that's working in the office. And we are continuing our operations. Our caseloads do continue to increase. And we are continuing our operations. That's about it.
Yeah. Commissioners, do you have any questions of Mary Ann or PreTrial Services?
No.
If you do, feel free to jump in.
Mary Ann, this is something I don't see you all that often. This is something that's probably a bigger topic, but maybe I just give you a heads up that I'd like to talk with you about the discussion or scuttle about how PreTrial Services might expand to district court and kind of what the thinking is there and what the process for that might look like and stuff like that. I've heard talk about it, but I'd like to talk to you about it whenever you get a free time.
I would love to talk about that, Commissioner. That's something that we have been, and when I say we, the PreTrial Services Governing Board has been talking about since I started here at the county about 3.5 years ago. I think it'll be 4 in December. And unfortunately, I don't have the resources in the department to fully expand to district court because our caseload's continuing to increase for Superior Court, and that's where the majority of the resources are right now with respect to PreTrial Services. So I have submitted a budget request for expanding to district court. I had done that for the last biennium. I would love to expand to district court and offer the services for my department over there. I think that would be beneficial for our county and our community to do both the screening for those that are arrested and put into custody, as well as the supervision. So I think that those are tied together in terms of best practices, to not just do one or the other, and to expand over there.
And then district court probation would be focused on post-conviction supervision versus pre-conviction supervision?
Correct. That's one of the big differences between PreTrial Services and probation.
Commissioner Edwards, anything for Mary Ann?
Nope, I think she's doing great. Thank you.
And you're muted in there. There you go.
I was muted? No,
Yeah.
doing great. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Mary Ann. Dennis Osorio, what's up with IT?
Good afternoon. So we have multiple projects going on. Obviously, we're still supporting everyone, trying to keep everyone operational to the best of our ability. Some of the bigger projects over the past few weeks, we've been implementing a new court video system throughout the courts. That has had its own challenges as the scope of that project was expanded when CRF money was added to it. So we kind of needed to accelerate the schedule. So we greatly accelerated the schedule. During that time, there's any accelerated schedule, there's been a little bit of bumps along the way, but we've been trying to get a little bit more efficient communication. So trying to get our stakeholder meetings at least a couple times a week so we can make sure to keep a punch list on what the outstanding issues are, as well as technical meetings. We have our last big phase coming this weekend. That also put a little wrinkle in it, as we couldn't get all the courtrooms on the same system at the same time, so we did have to spread it out over some weekends. So having the integration between the old system and the new system has caused some issues. And then just normal implementation, training, and having a new system live and getting everybody up to speed on how to operate that. Any questions on that project before I go into anything else?
Commissioners, or go with Ty, but if that anybody else that would like to get a shout at Dennis, you can do that too. Go ahead, Ty.
So I'm curious. I heard a little bit about the bumps of getting input and stuff. So I don't need to hear about that. But I'm just curious. Once you got it going, I mean, how does it? I assume at least part of it is operational now, and you can sort of see how it's working and whether it's doing what you thought it was going to do, or it's a big upgrade over what we had before, or how does it look like it's going to pan out?
I think it's going to pan out well. It does integrate everything. So our system before, the video and the audio, were two different systems, which had its own problems in itself. So this integrates everything. This also lets us connect the courtrooms to Zoom meetings or virtual meetings and use those resources, so the mics and the video within the court, which is a big upgrade. And I think we're already keeping a list as we continue to, the users and the stakeholders get a little bit more familiar. I think they'll see more usability and more things that they're able to do. So I think overall it's going well. Like I said, I think just not to mention with the COVID as well. So there's a lot of virtual meetings, and that leads to some miscommunication and some assumptions being made when people are trying to go a little quicker. But I think now we're starting to get a little bit more feedback as to, okay, now I know what the system is. Now I know how to use it. Can we do these little tweaks and these little changes, which is no problem. I think that's where we want to get to.
Good. Gary, any questions?
No, sir.
Anybody, any other department director have questions of Dennis and IT?
I don't have a question. I have a thank you. Can I do that?
Okay.
So Josh Cummings, the director of CPED, wanted to say thank you to Dennis and the rest of his IT team on the continuing great leadership on the A6, Amanda, the permit database program project. Continuing to move that ball forward is a big, difficult process, and really appreciate your team's continued keeping CPED on track and coordinating with public health and public works and kind of keeping us all together moving forward. So thank you, Dennis.
Thanks, Josh.
Wow.
So I too wanted to just say a big thank you to Dennis and his team. We dumped a whole list of COVID-related orders on that team, and they are just doing their best to make sure everything's been ordered, updated, delivered, that we're on track with the projects. And it's a lot to do all at once, and they're doing a great job. So thank you and your team for that.
Thank you. Yep, that was one of my other updates. That did take up quite a bit of most of the summer. Obviously, all the CRF purchases that came in and making sure that we can meet the deadline, which I know it did get pushed out from my understanding, but I think we got everything purchased. We're getting down to the last little bit of deploying all the laptops, so make sure everybody is functional and can work from wherever they need to. A couple other the big projects that we got going on, quick updates. We're almost done with the sheriff's new MCT deployment. So that's their new laptops that go in their car, which is great. It really helps us meet CGIS requirements. They're going to be using multi-factor. So real big upgrade there. And I think we're down to the last 10 or 15 of those. And we've been working really close with the sheriffs on making sure that we're rolling that out without impacting operations.
That's a big chore.
Yeah, yes, it is. One of the other things that we're ramping back up for is we're trying to finalize we'll get a good draft RFP for an A6 replacement, so we could start looking at what it's going to take to replace the permitting system. So that we're almost wrapped up with a good draft, and we'll be getting the charter back, spun back up. Some of the folks have left the county, and we need to update some positions and whatnot. But then get the buy off on that, and you'll be seeing that in the near future as well. And then one of the other things, and we just had a meeting on this before, we're getting the ERP system project. I know it's on pause, but we're trying to get all the contracts and all the legwork that we can get done now. So when we do pause it, we could pick it up and just keep going with it. So we're still working with the vendors, trying to get at least all the paperwork side. Since we do have to pause the project, we're getting what we can get done in the meantime. So,
Very good.
so those are some of the big ones. I could probably continue on, but I know we're short on time. So,
All right. Thank you, Dennis. Maria Ponte, HR.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hi.
Well, it's hard to believe that we're having to look into the fall. And
Your volume is very low.
let's see. I'll try to, is this any better?
Yeah,
That
much
is.
better.
All right. So looking into the fall, we typically bring in a visiting nurse for flu shots. They're not doing in-person flu shots this year, but they are looking at doing kind of like a drive-through concept. And so we're waiting for details on that. Open enrollment, we also will not be doing in-person clinics, but we will be providing virtual clinics. And notably, one of the things that happened in May with Public Service Recognition Week is, we were all working on COVID issues, but now we're back to getting employee service awards ordered. And this year we have some real significant milestones, 2 employees at 35 years, 15 at 30 years, 13 at 25 years, 31 at 20, 22 at 15, 14 at 10 year, and 40 at 5 year. So staff will be working to get either their certificates of appreciation or their plaques and awards. And staff, we just continue to be busy processing the emergency paid sick leave and the public health emergency leaves. So those are my highlights. If you have any questions.
Always have a question for HR. Someone does.
They don't
Nope.
like to.
Nope.
They don't like to shake up HR.
Yeah.
Wow.
HR's doing great.
Wow, that's great.
Thank you.
You're vital.
I've got another one.
Yep.
So this isn't a question. This is a thank you. HR, really appreciate the work of Aaron Moe and the rest of your team as we've gotten past the hiring chill, and permit and planning is going to hopefully be nearly fully staffed by the end of October. So thanks for the speedy work on that. It's been super helpful and impactful for the citizens, and you guys have been great. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll pass that along.
I can't help it. I apologize.
And there's no department that that really benefits time-wise, structural-wise, task-wise during COVID. Everybody's been tasked, but HR, you have to stay right on top of it in every arena that there is, and you've got great staff. So thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
As each of you do. Patrick, OPD.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I'll start off with several thank yous. And Dennis, thank you on behalf of all our stakeholders in the justice system for upgrading that system. You know, we've had to change how we do business through COVID and how we practice law and how we have a justice system. And we've had to make a lot of changes, and a lot of that's had to do with technology. So, and thank you to the commissioners for funding that project. Probably should start there with a thank you there, and then a thank you to Dennis's team. I'm really proud of our office. We continue to, despite all these challenges, deliver high quality public defense for this community, and I'm really proud of all our staff under very stressful circumstances. So we're looking forward to our next steps, and another big thank you to other colleagues here, Shelley and Dr. Abdulmalik. Obviously, as covered in the paper, we went through a recent outbreak in our correctional facility. For my staff, they've been in that facility throughout COVID, meeting with their clients, doing their job, and was really happy that we were able to come through that scenario as best we could, and really appreciate Shelley took time out to address my staff. There are a lot of questions and concerns, many of which I wasn't really able to answer. So I really appreciate Shelley taking time out of her busy schedule to give information. And that's, at the end of the day, I think we're all learning lessons on communication through COVID and getting correct and accurate information out to staff and the community. So I really appreciate that. That was obviously something that, we made it through as a department, but we've sort of taken those steps from day one with my staff to be prepared, be safe, and to continue to be safe into the future doing what we do. Today's obviously the first day for many students in our community, and we have a lot of staff members that are venturing into today with questions, and we're going to see how this week goes for our staff that are parents and teleeducation, and I'm included in that. I'm not sure how it's going. I hope it's going okay. But we'll see how that impacts staff. I really appreciate our county manager's commitment on behalf of the board to staff and staff's job security through these difficult times. It really means a lot. I'm sure I speak for my colleagues here when it's a great message to county employees that we've got their back in these challenging times. A couple other things, we're continuing our implementation of our big case management process and project with the prosecuting attorney's office. We're hopefully still on target to try to stand that up by the beginning of the year. It's taken a lot of effort, but we're really excited about it. And I'll be before the board later this month giving a state of public defense on how we're doing this year with data and trends and where we're going. So I think that's about it. I could thank everybody on here, but
you don't want to.
Thank you, everybody on here.
I'll come back at the end to what you said, Patrick. You said communication through COVID. Struck something with me, but we'll get on with everybody else first, and I'll bring that up again. So thank you for saying that. But since you did invoke Shelley's name, we're going to go with Shelley, PHSS.
Sure. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So much of what we, of course, have been really busy with, as always, is COVID-19. I haven't seen the latest case counts today, but as of yesterday, 1,059 cases, 15 deaths. But we are encouraged by seeing our transmission rates go down. Our percent positivity for testing is 2.5%. Just a few weeks ago, it was 4%. We'd like it to get down to below 2%. But that is encouraging. In terms of the governor's Safe Start Washington plan, we're still at about, I think, 45.5 transmission rate for a number of cases. We want to be below 25, but it's good news, but we are bracing for a challenging fall season ahead of us, we think. So a lot of what we're trying to use this time now is to gear up for that. I'm really glad for HR's support in helping to encourage flu vaccines for our employees who are at home, who might normally access a clinic to still know that that's a benefit that they have through our county medical and to go get it, because that'll really help us to distinguish between flu symptoms and COVID-19 symptoms going forward. So we really want to encourage that. So hopefully you can help us with that. We are, speaking of school, my son had his first online day of school, and I thought I had mastered Zoom at this point, but apparently not. I can't pass a 4th grade Zoom. So it was a lot harder than I thought to be able to help him. But we're working with the superintendents. Dr. Abdimalik and I are meeting with them weekly to consider a couple different scenarios. One being, what is the impact of Labor Day? We may see a spike after this Labor Day weekend that we'll see in a couple weeks. If we don't see a spike and the physical distancing and masking and our public messaging has been effective, then we might see our risks continue to go down, which would be a good thing. So we're also considering what that might look like. All of our IMT positions at this point, except for one, have been filled. So thank you to all of you for your help in lending us staffing, and for the board for giving us the funding to be able to respond to this massive effort. I'm really proud of our staff and our team and every person in the county that has helped support us. So I want to say thank you. I can't thank all of you enough for your support. And especially, Patrick, to your point regarding the jail outbreak, that impacted multiple departments and offices. I know it was really stressful. It was kind of our first run in the county, fortunately, in having a big outbreak amongst county employees. It impacted multiple departments and offices. So that's given us a chance to kind of reevaluate and take a look at, what we have in place in terms of the information that we've shared with all of our employees. And I think that overall we're doing really well. So, and other things besides COVID, we're watching the air quality right now. It's unhealthy for sensitive groups. So that always makes us concerned, especially about our houseless population. We also are gearing up for the hazardous weather season coming up. And we already know that we don't have enough shelter for people, so that's a concern. And as always, dealing with other environmental health things such as toxic algae and social services and lots of our other programs. Everybody's just super busy right now. So, but all doing well. So thank you.
Is there any commissioners, any questions for Shelley or comments?
I have a comment, Shelley. I just got out of an ORCA meeting this morning, and of course they're tracking the air, but they don't, they're not medical experts. So when people call them like, what do I do? Do I stay inside? How do I, I'm old, or, I don't have air conditioning. They tell them to call the county health department. And I was like, great, they're not doing anything. So that's a good idea. Don't worry about it.
Aaron, right before this call, I just dusted off our press release for that. So we'll be getting some messaging out to the community on what they can do to take care of themselves during this.
Yeah, I remember in 2019 that you guys gave us a presentation and there were the different codes. And so I knew you dealt with that, but it just made me, oh no. Just what Shelley needs to be worried about right now. But anyway, so thank you for handling all those, keeping all those balls in the air. I'm also concerned about schools, and Patrick, you were asking what's going on, and I'm trying to keep track. So what I know right now is that the Capitol High School Algebra 2 teacher sent the wrong Zoom link for 5th period. So that's a status report.
Wow. It's frustrating for a lot of people. My daughter-in-law is a paraeducator for special needs kids. And yesterday was her first day with a new boss. And they're still trying to sort out who's going to be in school, be online, and how they're going to work through this. Very stressful. She's going through a lot of stress trying to figure this out, and have it figured out for her as well. So I don't envy any of those folks. And we'll come back to that too about even the school crisis. Josh. Oh, wait, hang on, Josh. Gary, did you have anything to say? Any comments for PHSS, for Shelley?
Well, I just wanted to comment to Shelley and her crew for all the aggravation that they've been handling and the stressful situation and the uniqueness of your dealing with this whole thing. I know the whole crew has, throughout county government has been having to deal with the unusual circumstance, but Shelley has kind of been right there at the point of the spear. And so to her and her crew, thank you very much, Shelley.
So much, Commissioner. That means a lot to us.
Yeah, ditto. All right, Josh.
All right, so CPED, yes, we've all had our challenges with the COVID world, but I also think that there's been some opportunity in the way that we operate. And, we were already dedicated to process improvements. And so in our permitting group, the manager, Brett Burris, we've really taken this as a challenge to try and find new ways to increase our e-inspections and our communication via emails and other technology. And in a lot of cases, it's been working really well. The new database and customer interface system that we come across in the future is going to be just huge and impactful. But getting our processes internally ready is really important as well. I just wanted to put that out there in the partnership and coordination with Public Works and Public Health as we work on some of those issues in terms of process has been great. We're also working to address the issues of the local business community in terms of things that we can do that can provide positive impact and the C-19, the COVID-19 world. That's the deferral of the expiration of permits and potentially deferral of impact fees. So lots of good stuff happening and trying to find paths forward. Also on the longer range planning side, our folks led by Jennifer Davis continue to make progress on the board directed items for the comprehensive plan docket and the development code docket. So they're really focused on that list that the board provided them, and they're clicking through it with the planning commission and outreach to our citizens. And so just wanted to make sure that we all knew that they're doing great, and really was helpful to have that direction from the board in terms of priorities. And then, in relation to the fires, want to make sure that this group knew that the fairgrounds is open to receive the livestock that need to be potentially evacuated in circumstances of getting out of fire danger. And if you have any questions or concerns about that, bring them to me. I know that citizens are highly engaged in whether or not they can bring their animals to the fairgrounds, and if it's open, want to make sure that we follow the process that the sheriff's office has laid out for us. They're the ones leading that movement of animals if they need to occur, and then also to make sure that the folks at the fair are aware of it as well. And then the last thing I'd say, it kind of dovetails with the rest of our conversation on school. We're trying to be really mindful of all of our employees as we're separated physically. But as school starts, we are taking the cue from the board and from the county manager and being very clear with our employees that right now we are working towards extreme flexibility. Do your job, complete your items, but recognize that, there are kids out there that need your attention as well. I heard one time that kids are 30% of our population, but 100% of our future. So we've taken that to heart in CPED. Maybe I heard it more than once.
That's brilliant, Josh. Where'd you get that?
Just in the air. That's it.
That's it. Any questions or comments for Josh from anybody? No, you brought up some good points too, Josh, and we'll touch on that at the end as well. Jennifer Walker, Public Works, yay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Why do I have to follow Josh? So, as everyone else has mentioned, really, our daily work isn't stopping with COVID-19, so we've been continuing on. A couple of key items that I want to point out the county solid waste management plan, the draft plan, is open for comment. It's posted online. We have a 30-day period for individuals to go on and look at and comment on the strategies for managing our solid waste in the county. So we also have 2 virtual meetings that are coming up next week as well. So if you want to have one, learn about it, 2, have a say, influence, comment on it, this is your opportunity to do that. We had improvements made at the Waste and Recovery Center on our being able to accept credit cards and not needing to sign for them. And that actually has increased the throughput through that facility. It's reduced our per transaction time by like 40 to 50%. And we are seeing kind of record high self-haulers at the Waste and Recovery Center. So that has been significant improvement for customers going in there, and also just for staff and trying to manage the volume that's going through there. So I think that was like a $20,000 investment. So significant operational improvement. We are providing support right now for the Bordeaux fire. We had staff working yesterday with traffic control for the road being closed off. Had them there second shift through, I think, 3 a.m. this morning, and then we're back out there at 8 a.m. And are managing and providing support there. And we are having conversations, starting to plan for winter preparedness, and doing that in light of our current environment. So we'll be coming to the board on briefing on that in October, along with ER&R, because we do this as a team. We certainly can't do it alone. So overall, I guess I just want to thank my teammates here, the board, for their support, and most importantly, my staff. Public Works staff has been throughout this entire time continuing to do their job and deliver on our mission for the community. And so, road operations, traffic, they're out there when it's 90 degrees, wearing masks, and doing their part. And so I just really, really want to thank them for their hard work and commitment to the community.
Very good. So then there's a lot done up in the Bordeaux Road, a lot of equine facilities out there as well. So I imagine they're hooked up, hooved rescue and such with the fairgrounds. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's, I'm not so much involved with that, but my understanding is there's been quite a bit of really just community response and neighbor helping neighbor as well. So
is Kurt on this call?
He's on vacation.
Is he? Okay.
He's on vacation.
Got it.
I did send him a message yesterday evening, letting him know all the fun he was missing. To which he shared, he has a new addition to his family. He's got a cute little puppy.
Oh, sweet. Very good. Any questions or comments for Jennifer? Commissioners?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to let Jennifer know there was a road project I used to get complaints on, and now I'm getting compliments on, and I just want to pass those compliments on to Jennifer, and I'm sure she knows what the project is. Very good job. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll make sure that staff know.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Anything, Ty, for Jennifer? Okay. We'll skip Kurt because he's on vacation. Where is he? Do we know?
He's on vacation, so I don't know where he's at.
No idea. Okay. And before I get to Robin, no, I'll go to Robin now because Robin Campbell, the Assistant County Manager, has joined us. Go ahead, Robin. Do you have anything to say? I'll check in with you. You can check in with us.
I just, I think that everyone knows where we're at with budget. The schedule for the October presentations should be out by the end of the day today. So watch for that. And then on Central Services. That team is just continued to be here every day, provide what the other offices and departments need. We've done a lot of ordering of PPE and continued in the support role there. We're just busy every day doing our job, so nothing new.
Very good. Have I missed anybody? I'll get to the commissioners in a minute, and then Romero to wrap up. Patrick, you talked about communicating through a pandemic and crisis, and it reminded me of an article I read that every crisis has a life cycle, and emotional states and needs, the needs vary with each cycle and each stage. And so you folks are dealing with that, and you're dealing with that and trying to help navigate your folks through it. And they gave some very basic general tips, and they are give people what they need when they need it. And this is not only for the commissioners to you folks and to the county manager staff, county staff to you folks, but also you to your people as well. Communicate clearly, simply, and frequently. Choose candor over charisma, what people need. Revitalize resilience, pretty much accentuating the positives through all of this. As these crises metastasize and split off into an economic crisis, or split off into a school crisis and learning with teachers and daycare and all the other types of things, it seems to be very chaotic for people. And that's the last one, is distill meaning from chaos. Right now, it's very chaotic for everybody, but distill meaning in this whole thing. And just accentuate that through differentiate between that and chaos. So thank you and each of you, Josh, many of you said the same thing in some of your comments and touched on any one of those. So with that, I'm going to turn over to my seatmates and then to Romero. Commissioner Mincer, you got the floor, sir.
I don't have too much. I thank everybody for input on the budget questionnaire and budget. You know, we made some significant decisions about process, and I kind of thought they were the right decisions, but it gave me better confidence that when I heard the input, and it seemed to be in tracking, and so that was really helpful to make me feel better about how we went about things, and hopefully it'll be smooth as it can be this year. Folks probably heard that I had a recall petition filed against me, and it was thrown out by the court yesterday, so you're stuck with me for a little while longer. I was pleased to have that behind me. So those are my updates.
Those are wins. Commissioner Edwards, sir, you have the floor.
In being brief, I would just say thank you to everyone for all your hard work. Thank you very much.
And yeah, and it doesn't stop. And Romero, you have the final word, sir.
Yeah, I really don't have anything specifically to add other than you heard today. But just a thought in terms of, in Commissioner Hutchins touch base on some of the key elements of leadership. And I also believe the leadership is tested on difficult times. Leadership is not tested when everything is going right. And when we faced this unknown pandemic back in March, really it was such an unknown for all of us. But I have to say, everyone that I see on the Brady Bunch screen today have stepped up to the plate on their own feet. And that is probably the message that I want to send to all of you. Kurt, who is also absent, is the leadership that you have shown on those trying times. Because without your leadership, we have not been able to move forward as an organization. We have not been able to move forward and respond to this emergency. And we have not been able to provide the services to our citizens. And that goes with the board, who is also part of this conversation. Difficult decisions that needed to be made, difficult decisions that perhaps are yet to be made. And all that, I believe, is always having the main purpose of providing whatever best possible service to our citizens based on the constraints that have been given to us. So from my perspective, you rock, and thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you all for your attendance today. We now have to put on our robes and white wigs and go into a quasi judicial role.
Yep.
And we're going to get set up. So thank you all very much. We'll be sure to get a picture of that for you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.